Real estate's going really, really crazy in the city of Philadelphia right now. We got an all-time issue with squatters. They're all over the place. I kind of had an issue with some squatters this week, and I'm going to tell y'all about real quick. But today we want to watch a video about some gentlemen who are dealing with a squatters issue. Everybody wants to be a real estate investor, but nobody ever talks about this and how to properly deal with this. Today, it is Freedom Friday, y'all. Welcome to another edition of Freedom Friday, presented by the Black Wealth Rebels. I'm Kamari. Jimmy's finally got here. That's right. We're starting to shade off early. But don't forget, we got our Bitcoin giveaway. What's up, brother? How you doing?
How you going to just slander me
Shade you
before
from the
I
jump?
didn't even get a chance to say hi to anybody yet, and
That's
you
right.
already cooking me like, what's good, man?
Because I already know. Listen, I gotta get my joints in first, man, because I know
Yo,
you're gonna hit me with a pause this and a pause that and
you out of
hey
pocket,
yo
man.
this.
You disrespectful, man. You disrespectful. But you know what? You my old head, my OG. So I'm gonna let I'm gonna let you talk your trash. What's
I'm
up,
not that much
everybody?
older
Everybody,
than you. I'm
listen.
not
I
that
see.
much older than you, by the way.
Hey, listen, folks is coming in the room. So shout out to everybody watching live, man. I also want to say shout out to everybody in the village because the village has been growing like crazy.
Like crazy.
And yeah, the village is growing like crazy. And I'm super excited about that. As you guys know, there's content dropping in there every day.
And I
You
want
know
to
what I'm
give
sayan?
Jimmy his flowers.
There you go. Let's go.
Jimmy
Let's hear it.
has
Hold on. Let me be
been
quiet for this part. Go ahead. I want to
Jimmy's
make
been
sure I can
dropping
clip this.
almost every day, month straight. He's been on his his discipline, putting it in. So thank you for that, sir.
I mean, in case you want to, continuously give me credit, like I'll be quiet for a little bit longer. Like, I'm for
Just
all that.
keep running,
I'm
keep
for that.
coming
I'm
out,
for that, man. Yo, so
What up,
thank
man,
you to
Jimmy?
everybody.
Welcome.
And salute, but thank you to everybody who leaves comments, feedback, and also ideas. So I have a list of ideas now, based upon folks that are in the village. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Kamari for trolling.
Not trolling, man.
Yo,
Listen,
y'all gotta. Yo, first of
I
all,
actually
Kamari
like
gotta
to save
chill.
my grits.
You gotta chill with your AI, Kamari,
This
because
time, this is the debate y'all keep having. Let me show you real quick. See that shine? A little sugar, a little salt, hit with pepper. That's harmony right there.
Harmony.
Yeah, that's it. Sweet, savory.
Why you hating on me, man?
I'm not hating on you. I'm hating on whatever that thing is, though.
Why
That joint
you
is
hating?
creepy, man. It's
Why
creepy,
you
man.
hating? My teeth is messed up a little bit. That's all.
Yeah, it's creepy, man. Salute, Warren. What's up, Warren? How are you?
What up, boy?
SQL with
That's it.
AJ.
Yo, where you been, bro? I ain't
Yeah,
seen
man.
you in a
Right.
minute. How you
He
been?
out here. He out here writing that sequel, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to him
good.
for writing that
Yeah.
sequel, man. Yo, and I started back in school this week, and it's kicking my rear end right now, man. Speaking of AJ specifically, because I know he's into the coding and running SQL. So the class I'm taking is based in SPSS, and it's just bothering me right now. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's a language, right? SPSF.
It's specific to IBM, so it's IBM software. It does make things a lot easier than trying to just write it in Python.
So you working on mainframes and stuff?
No, nothing like that, Doug. I'm doing data analytics is really what I'm doing. It's specific to real estate, but you know what I'm saying. But so that's what I'm dealing with right now. Outside of everything else in life, you know what I'm saying. We got a lot going on, even as a unit. You know what I'm saying. I don't know how many of those that are in the village saw the video that Corey did about Venezuela. And shout out to my brother Corey, who's with the son right now, but with his son right now, I should say. But we showed a little bit in that specific video, and it's in the village. And if you're not in the village, you can get in the village for free by going to blackwealthrebels.com. It's completely free. You want to stay in tune with everything we got going on. So we showed that we were on sacred ground. You know what I'm saying? We got new office space on sacred ground. We are building out the Black Wealth Rebel studio.
We almost got it. It's coming, y'all. It's coming.
Hey y'all, first off, pause.
I'm
Second
not
off,
pausing that, man. Stop.
second off, it's on sacred ground. Did I tell you that yet? Because I got to run it in the ground, Kamari.
Keep running it.
You know what I'm saying? What's up, Lorraine? I see Lorraine in the building too. Lorraine's in the building. Also, Steve's in the building without slander though. So, Steve, we don't officially know that it's Steve until we see a little bit of Kamari slander. That's how we know it's really Steve.
I'm glad
someone.
you admitted that Steve slanders me the most.
Steve slanders me too, though.
No, I said the most.
I mean, you have more to be slandered about. So, I mean, there's that too. And and everybody here, we do a Bitcoin giveaway every Friday. So stay tuned for our Bitcoin giveaway that will come, towards the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? But
So, but hold on before we get into the show, and I got some shenanigans all planned out.
Oh man, y'all know what that means.
All right, that's what AJ says. Building ML learning tools. Actually, Rory Murray. I don't know. I think Anthony did that. Thank you, Anthony. Actually, Rory Murray, I have a cash flow forecast tool for you to test out. I would be more than happy to do that.
Oh, why he get to test it out and I don't? He don't even know what ML is. Why can't I test it out?
Why machine learning? Stop being jealous.
You should have said that then.
Why? That's not what it said. Stop being jealous all the time, man.
No jealousy here, doggy. All right, let me read this. All right, Steve says, The Fracturing Trust in Capitalism, AI, Automation, and the Inevitable Rise of Bitcoin by Jordy Visser. Check that Substack out, Jim. All right, Steve, appreciate that, man. All right, so AJ said he got me.
You didn't have a whole hissy fit.
Yo, Steve, if you in the village, Steve, can you, because I can't find it now, can you send that to me? Either inbox the village or put it in one of the chats. You could put it in the Stack Sats or Try and chat. Any of those chats, just drop that Substack in there. I definitely want to check it out. I had a university reach out to me and ask me specifically about any kind of outline about a course or anything in terms of the combination of Bitcoin and real estate. I'm not going to take.
Go, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I'm not going to take on that endeavor now. I got way too much in life going on, but I'm also going to be salty if somebody else gets to teach that course first because there is no course like that, and they reached out to me. But I'm gonna be pissed if somebody do it. I just don't have time to do it right now. So SQL what AJ says. I started Rory Murray. This Ant Dog.
Right, that's Ant Dog. All right. So yes. I did say you, but I didn't, it's multiple Anthony's ants. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So listen.
Who started Bamari though? Because you know what I'm saying, because you back with your red on again. So you know what I'm saying?
I'm not doing that with you, man.
Red rose, white ceiling. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I have an economic indicator, innate inflation forecast.
Okay.
I want to see what
y'all know this is about to go left right now.
It's
about
not.
To do something.
It's really
about something
not.
very nefarious is about to come from this.
I wanted to ask you what you thought about this, and I wanted to ask somebody else what they thought about this.
Let's see.
Now, do you know what that is?
Yes, I do.
So that is from The Devil in the Blue Dress. That is Lisa Carson. So this is the inflation calculator. The U.S. inflation calculator measures the dollar's purchasing power from 1930. So if you spent $2 in 1930, so in 2026, it's about $38.82. So that's the equivalent of a $40 date.
I told y'all he's out of pocket.
But listen, this is one of my favorite movies. This is one of my favorite movies, right? This is written by one of the GOATs, right? S.A. Cosby is still a GOAT, but I also told y'all that Walter Mosley is one of my GOATs too, and I'm back reading some of his new fire too.
He got new fire?
Well, it's not new, but I just newly discovered it.
Okay.
But I saw this, and she killed this role, Lisa Carson, by the way, and I just thought this was so funny. So $2 in 1930s would be $40 a day, and y'all love y'all $40 dates. Shout out to Don Johnson.
Shout to Don too, man. I ain't gonna put Don business out there, man, but Don been sharing his business, so but Don getting to it. That's all I'm gonna say, man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Don be putting information out there that make me nervous for him, but that's our bro.
You know what's funny, man? I want us to talk about this one day.
Okay.
Because we're both from Philly. We're both hometown dudes from Philly. We both saw all kinds of craziness in the streets. And so we have a level of trauma because Don will share some of his stuff. I'm not going to go deep into it.
Paul.
They would, God, I can never be serious. He would never, I'm messed up now. So we will never, I don't think I would ever share. The most I might share is my Cash App portfolio. There's nothing in there.
I ain't sharing that either, doggy.
Nah.
No, I definitely have trauma surrounding certain things. Because again, I grew up in a wild time. Like, me and Kamari have a certain age. Kamari's older than me. That's my OG. But with that being said,
only about like a year. We both grew up during the crack era at the same damn time. Grew up in the same neighborhoods and everything.
No, listen, I got friends that would brag about things, and we haven't seen them since. Like literally, like so for me, and not that our brothers bragging or even people that do that, but there is a people don't know how to distinguish between motivation versus someone bragging. So carrying that trauma makes me. When people even ask me how many properties do I own, it makes me nervous, right? And
Y'all
that's not
should,
even that's not even cash. Like it just
y'all
makes me
should
nervous.
see how Jim reacts every time a young boy be like, "Yo, how much money you got? How many properties you got?" Jim's pattern response is, "Yo, you trying to line me up?"
Yo, no, I really do have trauma around that kind of stuff, man. And I know, and the funny thing is, I know for a fact that it's probably slowed down the growth of what we do. Like our thing are being educators, and I know other people who are in the education space who like to share that kind of information because it helps them grow faster. Because when people feel like that you have a certain thing, they tend to want to work with you.
Yep.
So I know for a fact it's probably slowed me down, but at the same time, I'm okay with that because I get my money in outside. So it is what it is. But I definitely have trauma surrounding that, man. Like it definitely makes me nervous when people even ask those questions.
I mean, listen, I don't think everything is for public distribution, but I do think it'll be great to have real conversations
Hmm.
about some of these things and talk about the actual numbers, or say, "Yo, like for example, I still got $100,000 in student loan debt. What's my strategy for dealing with that? How many doors do I need to pay that off?" Right, Jim.
Okay.
Me and Jim be talking about doors. We was talking about doors today. So
Hmm.
I got some that stuff I gotta eradicate, and I figure instead of just paying it off, I'm gonna figure out how to invest my way out of that. And figure that out. But
Here's
you know,
here's a quick way for you, right?
okay,
Give me the tax benefit to this, being as though you're the tax guy. Could you just take out 100 bands out of one of your properties, pay off the student loan debt, and then keep it on the mortgage where the mortgage is tax deductible? Now, I hate saying that because it's not like dollar for dollar, right?
it's not, but to your point, right? The interest rates on my loans are going to be lower than the interest rates that I have on my property.
Hmm.
And honestly, part of what I bullshit is part of what I am doing is because we've been taking on student loans for my children to go to college because I got two kids in college at the same damn time, right? And so I'm going to be paying down, taking some of my rents to pay down my student loan balance that me and my wife have. So we
Okay.
don't let that thing pile up, and we're going to attack it early so it doesn't even get a chance to compound and get crazy.
Shout out to my guy Sleepy Joe, man. I don't have no student loan debt. Sleepy Joe got rid of high six figures for me too. Yo, how come my sister is in the comment section and she not up here with us? Court,
Because Courtney don't got time for us, man. Hey,
Court,
Courtney. How
Court,
you
why you
doing,
do us like
Courtney?
that, Court? Yo, but Courtney will be with us next Saturday, is it?
Friday, the 16th.
Friday, next Friday.
Yeah.
Yo, so
We'll
this
be on
week
sacred land. We'll be on sacred land.
we'll be on sacred land. We'll be on
There
the
you go.
same. We'll be where our office is. However, this week is crazy. On the 15th, what day is that? That is Thursday.
Yep.
So Thursday evening, I'm doing a webinar with our other brother, Malik Carter. I'm doing a webinar on real estate valuation. That's going to be online on Zoom. So go look up Real Estate Coach Carter. I'm doing a webinar with him on Thursday. Friday, we are actually in the flesh on sacred land. Us,
Yep.
Courtney, Liz. If Liz comes back from Ghana, because
She
Liz
might
is
not ever come back.
she partying in Ghana right now. It's supposed to be us, Liz, and Courtney. I mean, that's next Friday. Then on Monday, I'll be Coffee Creams and Dreams.
And wait a minute. Don't we have something on Saturday?
Saturday I'll be
So
in
you
Cherry
did,
Hill.
you did what
Yeah.
I did. You did
Yeah,
what
I
did.
definitely did. So Saturday. So hold up, that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Monday of next week. So next Saturday, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, at Maggiano's, right? With Jeff the Wealth Builder. We're going to
Jeff
do
Moore, yep.
It's a full class on everything from insurance, the taxes, the real estate, the Bitcoin. So it's in the flesh. Here's the other part though, Kamari. If I'm in the flesh in front of somebody, I probably do share a little bit more than I do a lot of times online. Because the thing about being online is you don't know where that's going to end up. You know what I'm saying?
No, you don't. No,
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll be the truth about that too. So it's a lot going on though.
you want
Court said she can't come up. Yo, man, send Court the link, man. All right, so shouts for the super chat though. We appreciate the super
Thank
chat.
you. Yep. Read
I
that.
got this, Kamari. My family members are looking to establish a family office. We are listening to what the Rockefellers do. I need a book consultation for some guidance soon. So listen, any consultation, you're in the village, just hit us up. We got you with any sort of consultation specifically about the book. I did read that book what the Rockefellers do. And not you, Warren, but in general, some folks be taking that book way too serious. And I'm gonna tell you why I say that, right? This is not for Warren. This is for people in general. I had people ask me like, yo, I'm trying to set up 74 different trusts, in a family office because I read this book, What the Rockefellers Do. And I'm like, okay, what kind of assets you got? My Cash App got like $250 in it. I'm like, all right, what else you got? No, that's all I got. But I need a family office and a trust. And I'm not shading anybody, right? You got to start with wherever you are. But some of y'all need to really like just fall back and figure out how to acquire things first, how to get ownership and how to make business moves. You know what I'm saying? That's the equivalent of back in the day. I remember cats used to like spend $600-700 on business cards and get like pens with their company name, and they ain't had no clients and they ain't had no business, but they wanted to look the part. You know what I'm
They got
saying?
that big logo. They spent $1,000.
Yo, they got a logo, they got trademarks. I'm like, what's the business? I'm gonna figure that out later. All right, cool. So I say that to say this, yo, be careful with that book. However, I know Warren's not one of them. Warren got a couple dollars, so we ain't. And I ain't mean to put you out there, Warren, but you ain't one of them. But that book reminds me of that.
What up, Dr. Sev? Listen, I'm glad Courtney's coming on. Courtney, I just sent you the link because we can talk about trust a little bit. I mean, that's not the show for that tonight. But I'm actually also glad Courtney's coming on because the story I got was from squatters. It's a legal issue, and Courtney can definitely talk about this as well.
You ain't put hands on nobody, did you?
Nah, I got out of Dodge. I was full, so sometimes I be moonlighting as a movie sometimes, y'all, because some of my people's be needing help. Plus, I've been thinking about starting that as a business.
You be in the mix, bro. You really be in the mix. Like you be all over the place, man. Like I don't know how to explain it, y'all.
It's come my way, so it's like, yo. But listen, Warren Buffett always says this, and I think it's great wisdom. Sometimes you just gotta say no, and that's absolutely sometimes the best thing you can do. Just say no.
I think I'll be all over the place. You might you got me beat, Paul. So you worse than me. You just be in the mix, bro. How you end up in that situation, man?
I'll tell a story in a minute.
Okay, cool. So Court coming on. That's what's up. I'm glad Court coming on too. Listen though, if you're not in the village, join the village by going to blackwealthrebels.com. It's completely free to join. We drop content pretty much on a daily basis. So Steve says there's this company called Horizon that lets you tap into your home equity and buy Bitcoin. I did see something on Twitter about them. I didn't do a full deep dive. That makes me skeptical, to be honest with you. But again, I'm not saying
what they selling it to you for. Some of these Bitcoin rates be crazy.
No, they do. Listen, but mortgage rates. So I just met with one of my lenders, shout there, Renee from Spring Garden Lending. You know, I mean, we had a call the other day, and rates is what they are. Now, rates did drop today, so I'm gonna call her back.
I saw the president is pushing some money into the bond market to make rates drop.
Yeah, so I definitely got to hit her back next week and see what the rates look like, because we ready to bust a couple stupid dope moves, as my man said on Fresh.
I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be transparent too again. So Jimmy said I could take some money out of my property and pay down my student loans. I'm actually scared of that. I'm actually scared of that.
I know you are. Every time I mention tapping into the equity, you start tap dancing.
Nah, listen, I'm being totally honest with you. I'm being totally honest, man. I like where my mortgage is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really listen. I don't want to be one of them dudes that. So me and Jimmy, we have an enormous real estate network around us, and everybody's always talking about bird this, bird that, refinance this, refinance that.
Mm-hmm.
But what nobody ever really talks about is when people get jammed up and either wind up in bankruptcy because they lose a tenant, or they've been what they call in real estate eating the seed, basically eating the profit and not putting money back. So I don't want to get where it's though that I have a high mortgage rate. And yeah, sure, I got some cash. And I know the thing is to put the cash to work. Right, hold on. Courtney's here. The superstar is here. Hold on.
What's up, Courtney?
The queen is here. What's up, Courtney? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So, but hold on. So I'm afraid that I take cash out. Let's say, I go to Guam or DR or whatever. And
see, why is that your first thing to do when you take the cash out, though?
But listen, I'm afraid of that, right? So, and then what happens if I hit one of these spots and then I lose some tenants, right? Then I gotta pay that note, right? I gotta pay that note. So what happens?
So
So
you don't
yeah,
trust yourself. You don't trust yourself. Your
but
discipline.
okay, so I'm being honest, right? I'm being
I
honest.
appreciate that. Be honest.
I'm being honest. So I might wind up being all around the world like Ludacris. I might have those in different area codes. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Courtney, don't pay me no mind. Don't pay me no mind. I'm
Court,
just
please
putting
not.
stop
out.
him. Please stop him. Hey, Court, I
I'm
meant to
just
call
putting
you
out.
too. I meant to call you about actually some legislative information. I'm looking at that that abatement that's being we'll talk though about the language. Anyway, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that on the side. I meant to call you though, but we'll do that on the
Okay.
side.
Yeah, call me.
But back to Kamari, you gotta trust yourself, man. And I understand what you're saying because the equities there is built up, but you only tap into equity if you're using it to make money. Don't tap into equity
Correct.
to take trips to the Dominican Republic or buy new
Or
Versace clothes.
Colombia, or
Whoa, doctor.
anywhere the passport bros go, man. Bangkok, Vietnam.
You see how she looking at you right now, bro?
I can't even believe that this is the part. This is the part of the conversation I ended up on. I'm not even sure how I got
We
in
miss
here.
you, Courtney. Welcome home.
Not even
Welcome
sure how I
home.
got on this part of the
We're
conversation.
talking about Kamari being afraid to tap into home equity. I didn't know it was going to go there because I didn't know that was his fear.
This is what I came to talk about because I was like, oh, let me grab my book. I got my book. I was like, let's go. You can see my little notes. I don't know if you can see them, but they're in there.
I do. I see
Yeah.
Steve cooking Kamari. We have officially started Friday. Here we go.
Yes, it's official now.
Oh.
Steve has begun his Kamari slander. Did Kamari use AI to create the thumbnail? Is that supposed to be him or Bismarcky? It's not supposed to be me or Bismarcky. By the way, R.I.P. to Bismarcky. Shout out to him.
R.I.P. Biz, man.
Yep.
All right, so Court, what are your thoughts? Because today we're actually going to talk about squatters' rights and squatters acting a fool here in Philadelphia. But when you heard that book, what was your first thought when you heard the book?
So I don't know if I was intrigued. I was like, all right, well, let's see what you're talking about. But I think the biggest thing that I know to be true is that you have to have actual money to protect. And I think you were saying earlier, people get ahead of themselves. And that's exactly what happened is that people get ahead of themselves. They're like, I want to be like the Rockefellers, but nobody really talks about that the Rockefellers were independently wealthy. And the whole point of the trust that they were looking to set up was to continue the legacy of money, or the legacy of wealth. One of the things that we talk about in wealth planning is that, we say shirt sleeve to shirt sleeves in 3 generations, which means, you have one generation that makes it, that actually makes the money. You have the next generation that builds on it, or that, but then you have the 3rd generation that basically like blows it. And then you're kind of at the same space that you started again. So one of the things about the trust is it kind of makes sure that we're replenishing the fund so we just kind of don't lose the wealth in that time period. So that's the whole thing, is that we're putting money back in the trust. But again, people are getting ahead of themselves and really setting up the system or the account before you have something to fund it. And a lot of people don't realize that when you have a trust that's not funded, it fails. So basically it's a dead trust. So there's a lot of kind of different places that that can cause problems if you don't know what you're doing. Conceptually, I think it's a great idea as an estate attorney to, when you have a trust, that you're making sure that it is consistently funded. If your goal is to have it out last for several generations, if that's what you're looking to do, then yes, you would take everybody who is your first level beneficiary, you would get a whole life policy on them. And then once they pass, they would replenish the trust. So yes, in theory, it makes a lot of sense. But again, remember, they're starting with a large pot of money to begin with.
Let me ask you a
Courtney, I
question.
have a question.
I do too. You go
All right,
first.
go ahead.
You age before beauty. Go ahead.
The slander. So, Courtney, this is a real question. One of my clients asked me this. They want to set up a trust because they want to protect themselves against child support. Can that be a real thing?
Whoa. Pay your child support, bro.
These are questions I get when I'm outside.
I'm wondering, I don't believe that you can do that. Because I think they have a right to invade the trust, but I would actually really have to look that up. I'm about to look it up. What should I ask a question?
What kind of? Never mind. I'm a
Listen, man, I'll be with
it's a real question. My question is this though, and I know the answer probably is it depends, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. because I do get so many people who like really don't have the resources to go into a trust. Is there a certain number when you should start looking into the trust, right? So if somebody has a net worth of say 5 million or 2 million, is there a certain number where it's like, okay, now I need to really start looking into this? Is it a number or is it something else?
So it can be a number, but it also can be circumstances. And I
Okay.
would focus more on circumstance more than I would focus on number.
Okay.
So for example, if you have minor children, minors cannot take money in their own name. So because of that, you would need to, if you want to provide for a minor child, it would need to be done in trust. And if you don't, what will happen in Pennsylvania, I can't speak for other states, is that the court will hold your money until you become of the age majority. And we know age majority, 18 or 21, you're really not really ready to take on that type of money. So if
Mhm.
you want to create kind of a longer time period, or kind of what we call you want to do before they become the age of majority, want to make sure that you're taking care of their health, maintenance, education, and support, you can do that. And then also provide different kind of milestones, like when they hit 25 they get this, when they hit 35 or whatever the case may be, to kind of like push out the timeline of all of the receiving wealth in any large fashion at any particular time. And the
Mhm.
hope is that the person is financial literate enough that by the time they receive the bulk of the money, or however it's set up, that they're able to manage it well. So there's
Okay.
that. The other part is that if you have properties outside of the state that you reside in. So if you live in Pennsylvania, I had a client who lived actually in Texas. Client lived in Texas. Parents lived in Pennsylvania, but the parents also had property in Maryland. And the parents, I think we were able to finally clean up the deeds, because the parents actually had like multiple people in the properties. It was a lot going on in the properties in Maryland. But because there was no what happens if you're normally, let me just back up. Normally when you have a property out of state that you reside in, you have to open what's called an ancillary estate to deal with that particular asset, if it's property. So with the trust is that if the property is in trust, you don't have to open the ancillary estate. It's a non-probate asset. You don't have to do all those other things, and it makes life a lot easier to deal with. So
One of the
that's the
things
thing. Mhm.
one of the things on my side of the business in the real estate space that I've seen, I don't want to say cause harm, but become
Mhm.
difficult is people do these things with trust when they have a lot of property, but then it messes up their finances because lenders don't lend the same
Put it
to a
in the
trust,
trust. Yeah.
yeah, as they do to an individual. So that's also something to think about as well. And I've seen that personally. So,
Oh, also
oh,
special needs, special needs. So like basically three instances, always
mhm,
special, property out of state, minor children, and any special needs beneficiaries. I would say like those are the circumstances that you're going to really want to look for trust. Now, in terms of money, I think the trust may or may not be a part of your estate plan. It's
mhm.
about what's actually held in your estate plan. I mean, or held in your estate that may need to be distributed or may not need to.
Oh, we lost Courtney.
Uh-oh, Illuminati.
COINTELPRO.
Yeah,
She was doing that.
COINTELPRO got
Sweetie Juice.
COINTELPRO
Sweetie
got
Juice.
caught, or she
All
got a
right,
phone call. One or the other.
I
but
had a phone
until
call.
oh,
My
she's
bad,
back.
y'all.
All right, she's
Sorry about
back.
that.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Yep.
I just hope that my father does not call back again.
You did get a
Because
phone
he
call.
get real
Yo,
persistent
yo,
sometimes.
shout out to
I'm like, yo,
Pops.
daddy, I call you back. Um, but so it depends on how you're set up. I mean, and so to answer
Mhm.
your question, it does depend. But there are certain circumstances where I would definitely say, yeah, you're going to need to get a trust. And then there's other kind of sit-ups like, okay, like how do
Okay,
we do this? So it just
got
depends.
you, got you. Come on, you want to catch up on these comments?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I
Hold
see, I
on.
see
Hold
it.
on.
Nicole is in the building.
Nicole's in the building. I just saw that. What up, Nicole?
What's up, Nicole?
Hey,
Nicole got the new
Nicole.
profile pic. I see you out here stunting.
No, that's not new. She did that before. She was stunting on the show. Thirst
I
trapping
know.
the
I
night.
just saw it recently. But yo,
Right.
and shout out to the honey hustler too, man.
All right, so I know Dr. Seb, I don't think we got to this one, says I used to share my finances and then I stopped. Most people are newsy. They don't want to know to hire us, right? They
Yeah,
just
there you
want to know
go.
to be newsy. So yeah,
What's up, Dr. Seth? How are you?
alrighty. All right, the quickest way to pay off your student loans is to get in what? Oh, one of them big prizes. Oh, so all right, that's the first slander. You missed that one, Jimmy. So Steve was getting busy early. Boy, I wouldn't go. Listen, I don't know how, dude. I've never been in this position, but my man said I woke up some nights with girls and some nights with Diddy, and then I felt a little sore. I'm like, what kind of shenanigans are y'all into?
Craziest part about that is, and again, I don't know that brother, man. Thoughts and prayers. But I feel like if Bo would have paid him, he wouldn't have said nothing about nothing. He wouldn't have said nothing about nothing. He wanted his bread.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got that one. Hey, Cookie, how are you?
Cookie, what's up, Cook?
He trying to spend 10 instead of 40.
Talking about you tapping into the equity.
Hey, listen, man, shout out to the Passport Bros, man.
What's up, Lorraine?
We got that one. Got this one.
Come on, it's Anthony.
Is that the ball player?
That's with all the kids. He's saying that shit client you got that don't want to, trying to put his money in the trust so he don't have to pay child support.
Is that the one who paid $18 million in advance?
He paid the chick off for 18 years, not 18 million. It was a lot less than 18 million. But he was basically
okay. All right.
Yeah,
I wanted to talk about that though, right?
I don't know if you heard about that story, Courtney. The ball player Anthony Edwards, a young lady got pregnant and took him to tried to when the baby was here, tried to take him for child support. The judge gave an order for child support, and he was like, "Here go to all 18 years. I don't want to see you no more." So it was that.
I wanted to talk about that though, right? Because when you think about that, he could have put that money in trust or into an account, right? And could have had more than what he paid out.
Hey, listen, Anthony Edwards is one of the top, say, 6 players in the league who's probably due for another contract. So him getting it out the way now probably saved the money.
Well, I think to the point you could probably, I mean, it depends on how he had it set up. I mean, you could stick it in you could do it in trust, and then kind of an annuity. There's a couple of different things. I don't know how he did it. So, I mean, I'm just curious. I'm curious actually how he did it, but
he can't put it in a whole life policy and make his baby become his own bank when he's 2 months old. I'm trolling you. I'm trolling.
He could.
I mean, I'm curious if he actually could. Now that we're talking about it, but Kamari, I do have an answer. So, the answer in Pennsylvania is that the court can order the trustee to make a distribution from the trust to the extent of the beneficiary's interest to satisfy.
Because it'll be HIMS, right? Will be for HIMS, right? Health, education, and maintenance, I believe HIMS is.
Right, but that's for the beneficiary. But this is actually the trustee withholding, taking a distribution for the trust for the benefit of the credit of a creditor, more specifically for the child support. So you can't put the money into this. This is Pennsylvania. I can't tell you anywhere else, but you can put money if you do have money in a trust and you do owe child support. The court can make an order for the trustee to actually pay it. So no, you can't use that to avoid.
So you can't use a trust not to pay for your daggone child support, people.
No.
Yeah. Shout out to your client, whoever he is. That's a wild question. Jamil, what's up, Jamil?
What up, Jamil?
Hey, Jamil, I actually brought you up today in a conversation because me and Kamari are working on the video you asked, and we'll be in the village. Like, we're getting set up in the office, but that's the first video we're gonna make. That REIT versus tangible property video that you asked us for. Joyful.
What up, Joyful?
Joyful, Lord.
Joyful says real talk happens. I know a guy that has done it. Whoa. And the tax advisor that recommended it.
And they both going to jail. No, I'm joking.
So they're not going to jail.
I'm joking.
But but the problem is that you had a tax advisor that I don't know if they were attorney or not. Like I just looked, like you have to look, each state is different. And so you have to realize that property in personal property and real property. So personal property is money, all the things that are, I don't want to say intangible, but other property other than real property, other than real estate. So each state has different rules. I'm just in Pennsylvania, they can actually make an order to the trustee to say, run us our money.
Yeah, it's crazy. Certain states actually tax you on personal property, which is we used to do it here too. We used to do that in Pennsylvania. So
no,
Delaware, right?
No, I don't know, but no for Pennsylvania.
No, we used to. We actually used to. I'm
worked. Sure we used to, but no, stop it. Like no,
they stopped it. They did stop it. They went to court. As a matter of fact, this is a funny thing about laws too. Sometimes they get a law change. You just need somebody with deep pockets to challenge said law, right? Because people were challenging it for a long period of time until I think it was the old owners of the Daily News back when the Daily News was in their prime. And they were getting taxed on all kinds of personal property, the machinery and all that. And they took it all the way to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court and cooked them and got it thrown out.
Uniformity?
So they said that it was unconstitutional to actually tax on personal property.
I'm wondering if that was a uniformity issue.
Yeah, so this was actually in the late 90s because I worked on it at one point. I was on the clerical side, but I remember working in personal property. Like, hold up. We could tax somebody for their art and their cars and their jewelry, but yeah.
Yep. All right, so I want to answer Nicole's question, then I want to get to the video for tonight. All right, so Nicole says, I want to open up an account or something for two of my grandkids that will earn for them. They can't touch it until they're 21. So I would suggest you get a UGMA or UTMA account. I always forget the difference. Courtney knows the difference, so I'm glad you're here.
Put it in your own name. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So one is the uniform gift to minors account, and the other one is uniform trust to minors account. Honest to goodness, I don't remember the difference between the two.
Yeah, I always think they're the same.
I do. They're relatively similar. They used to have a real different, but I think over time they. So UTMA, what I'm looking, this is me just looking at, is that UTMA, which is Uniform Trust and Minors, is 21, and the UGMA is saying it's usually 18. Now that's really my quick search. So, no, and I'm sorry, it's uniform transfers to minors. So one is uniform gifts to minors and uniform transfers. So it's not trust, but it's transfers. So my bad. But those are the two. So, and they're saying that the UTMA. So I think the UGMA is kind of like being phased out in terms of the more beneficial account based on the uniform transfer to minors, because it's actually a little bit more flexible than the UGMA. So
Nicole, I again, I know Courtney and Kamari about to cuss me out, but I'm telling you anyway. I will put it in my own name, and then in your will, have that specific account go to whoever you want it to. The reason I say that is this, because your thing is about letting the account grow over a period of time. I had a situation in my family where someone had an account for a minor, and when they went to go to school, there were certain grants and financial aid they couldn't get because that account they had for the kid was counting as their asset. You know what I mean? So once I saw that happen, I was like, all right, because I have nephews. I set up accounts for all my nieces and nephews. And what I do at this point now is I put it in my name. So I actually use Schwab for all my nephews' accounts because I can then I'll name it after them in the Schwab account. It's their specific account. But then I'll go edit my will, and then my will, that specific account goes to them. God forbid something happens to me. That's just my personal. And that's why I said, Kamari, about to say something to me.
Courtney going to say something to me, being the rich uncle, but I want to hear what Courtney has to say.
I wouldn't do it that way. I wouldn't, because again, I would make it a non-probate asset. Mm-hmm. Because at this point you're making it subject to probate, which means it's subject to your creditors. I don't think you may not have creditors, but
no, I don't.
I'm on my business, but it just makes it also forces. So here's the other part of probate that we don't really talk about. We talk about bad probate, but probate costs a lot of money. So if you have a lot of assets, in order to probate or go through the court process of distributing assets based on the value of your estate, it's going to cost you more money. So the less money that you have going through the probate process and going outside of probate, the more control you have and the less money it's going to cost, and the more likely it's going to go to the person's intended. So I would suggest that, especially if on these investment accounts, I wouldn't have it in your will. I would just have them, make them a beneficiary. So the same idea.
Well, no, they are the beneficiary. It's in my name and they are the beneficiary, but I still in my documentation, it still says that this specific account goes to them. So I have all of my brokerage accounts on my documentation in terms of last will and testament, all that. I have everything written out, but within the actual account, they are the beneficiary.
Okay.
And also, there's also this different strategy there too.
Hold on. What Courtney's thinking, I want to hear what she's thinking.
No, she was listening to what I was saying. She was processing.
No, I'm watching. She's thinking.
I was giving her more data. Let me get more data. See, also, there's another logic behind this too. If one of those rat bastards doesn't do what I want to say, I could change and not give it to him too, because it's not in their name; it's in my name. So it gives me a little bit more control as well.
So here's the thing. So one of the things I hear you, but one of the important things is that if you have a beneficiary on an account, the will doesn't matter. The will.
I figured that. Because even my bank accounts, right? Well, bank accounts, I have names on the bank accounts as well, but I still, because when I created I literally dumped everything. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that certain things will supersede that, but but I say all that to say this: I still wanted that level of control too. So.
I think that here's the thing. I think that is probably one of your best bets is to put it in your name. And so a couple of things. So I think one of the things that I love is that the difference between, you hit something that we don't really talk about a lot, is that everybody wants to have money in their kids' names until it really comes to FAFSA and, however we do student aid,
Hmm.
because the difference is for parents' assets, it's only like 5 or 6% that they count towards the ability for you to pay to the student's account. However,
Hmm.
it's 20% of a student's assets. So, except if it's a retirement account.
Hmm.
So I think again, it's about knowing the rules and playing it better than anyone else. So again, like my kids have accounts, but all of their accounts is a retirement account because they got the money from working. So none of that is going to be considered as part of their ability to pay because retirement accounts don't count. But the same
That's
thing
super
with
smart.
parents. If you don't have, if you have all your money in your retirement accounts, they also don't count towards, educational funding. So I
That's
think,
that's that's actually interesting too.
so I
And
think
the other
those are
part about it is this too, Court.
It's a
Other
million
part is this
dollars worth
too,
of
Court.
game right there, yo.
Here's the other part about this too, Court. Those
Mhm.
I don't have any kids, so they're not my kids. They're just like nieces and nephews. So I'm not even going to be looked at in terms of that. But I also told all of them that if you end up marrying a cave woman, then you're probably not going to get any of this. So I still
Whoa,
have a
whoa,
I have a
whoa,
I have a
whoa.
level. What's
No
wrong?
snow bunnies? No snow bunnies?
You marry a Yakubian. If you marry a Yakubian, then it's not going to you anyway. So I still have that level of control, right? So
Now, Jimmy,
there's that.
did Dr. Umar consult you on that?
Here you go.
Mm.
What you
So,
being honest.
but I think, but Jimmy, that goes to the point, and I like the fact that you brought it up because I
Mhm.
love. Okay,
Yeah, I
so
want
I
to
have
get to
a
that.
Nicole. I see Nicole's point, but I'll come
Yeah.
back to that. So one of the things that I love about what you're doing is you're using the control aspect,
Hmm.
in the same way people want to do control when we talk about trust, because really
Yeah.
the focus of, or the point of what people are trying to do with trust are actually initiate some level or some modicum of control, and you can do that in multiple different ways without having to do a trust. So understanding how, like, again, playing the rule, like learning the rules of the game and playing it better than anyone else, that's the whole point. And again, you can change your beneficiaries at any time. Now I will say this from experience: every single time you make a beneficiary change, you need to have a paper copy of that document in your
Okay.
document. It's just like you have your will or anything else, because I have seen people lose I've seen companies lose beneficiary forms.
Shout out to Aretha Franklin too.
Mm.
But what she did, her
Didn't she have
three
a
wills, her four
didn't she have a
wills.
bunch? She had a bunch of wills because she was making changes. So she was.
So the problem with her, so here's the thing about Aretha Franklin, and I really wish we would have talked. Like, DIY can get you in so much trouble. So Aretha Franklin did DIY wills, and the problem with it is not the fact that she did the DIY wills, is that she didn't have the proper language in the will to basically get rid of the other one. So you, in your wills typically, and this is again Pennsylvania, is that this is my last will and testament. I revoke all prior wills before this. And if you put that language in, and this is not legal advice, I am an attorney, I'm not your attorney, I want to be really clear about that. But if you put that in your will, it gets rid of the previous wills. But if it's
Mhm.
not there, the court is required to read all of them together.
Ooh.
And that causes, one, it causes serious delay in distribution of assets. Two, it causes a lot of confusion because you have to, the court's like, well, what did you mean here? What did you mean here? Which one is first? And it causes a lot of confusion. So again, when you go to a professional, there's certain language that they know to use to make sure that your final wishes are in fact maintained. Oh,
Okay.
Okay.
but
Great
the
point.
I
Great point.
want to address Nicole's question because I think this is a really good one, and a lot of people overlook this. So
Hmm.
Nicole says she has two grandkids who are special needs, but I want to leave them something.
able
So,
accounts.
but
Who?
back up and explain why she would need an able account.
So able accounts are specifically for special needs children. I'll tell you what it stands. It actually is an acronym, but let me tell you what it stands for. It is achieving a better life experience. So it's a tax advantage investment savings account for individuals with significant disabilities. It allows them to save money for disability related expenses without losing eligibility for needs based government benefits. That is really
Oh
important
wow. How
because what
how how long has that been around?
Ables have not been around that long. I want to say 10 to 20 years,
Okay,
maybe
yeah,
not that long.
that's fairly new.
Um,
Okay.
how long?
And then the other reason is a lot of times the child might not have the capacity to manage the money. So it's a lot of government benefits,
Hmm.
capacity to do it. You want to think that through really deeply, Nicole.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so 2014.
Okay, yeah, it's fairly Let's see.
So about 10, a little over 10 years. So yeah,
Okay.
so but the other part of it that Kamari talked about was capacity. But the other part of it is that if you have and you leave money in a beneficiary's name that is special needs and they're getting government assistance, that money is going to go to the government. So it's exactly what you don't want to
Ooh.
happen. So in having it in an able account allows you to still receive the government benefits, or the beneficiary still to receive the government benefits that they're entitled to, but still, have something available for, other things that are related to their disability without kind of basically dinging them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a
Okay.
few years ago, I used to be on the investment committee for a company that did pool trust. They were built around this very thing. They would create pool trusts so people would not lose their government benefit for whatever reason, if they were special needs, if they were disabled. Because I think you could only have like $2,500.
Yeah, very low.
So low, and it's so weird. So if you're getting any kind of government assistance and they got to pay out from a case or something, they would have to figure out a way to get around that, and that was one of the things that they did. All right, so Ann said that smart Jimmy wore bucks. All right, so Joyful asked, are you talking about TOD or transfer and death accounts, Jimmy?
Technically,
Oh, but
yes.
right, but that's what for Jimmy's kids. That's what he was talking about.
So no. So technically, so on the bank accounts, it's a TOD. On an investment account, it's a beneficiary. It works the same, but they have different terminology between the accounts.
Okay. Jimmy has Black Queen.
Oh my
one of their
gosh, I'm
accounts.
crying. I was
Hey,
like,
Aunt,
So Courtney,
I'm
we
definitely
got
I'm
our
gonna
own
add that.
we got our own language. So yeah.
Hey, Aunt,
oh,
I
I
appreciate that.
know what it said. Like now
I'm
that you said it, I know what it stands for. But I was like,
I'm gonna add that acronym. I'm gonna rename the accounts again. I'm gonna put their name, and that's gonna be after their name because
And you might as well put do a whole video testimony and trust vault with some Dr. Umar clips.
Well, why do you keep bringing that brother up, man?
Never, snow bunnies never.
Anyway, man. With that being said, Aunt, you already know what it is.
Reminded me of the book of Sycamore Row. I don't know that one.
Oh, Sycamore Row. Let's read it. Let's look that up. Sycamore Row.
And by the way, welcome, boom back. Welcome. We ain't seen you in a minute. How are you?
Oh, that's the John Grisham joint.
Okay. All right. Well, while y'all looking up, let's
I haven't read that one though. I haven't read that
That's
one though. I read a lot of John Grisham books, but not that one.
That's interesting.
Okay. All right. So let's check out this clip. Courtney, I want you to check this out. Then I want to share a story with you because I think you're going to find it hilarious.
Uh-oh.
Come on, OG. I'm not playing with you. The house is sold. You're not supposed to be in here. Call the cops. Call the cops. This bullshit that niggas gotta do for their own cribs is fucking crazy, dog.
Yeah, no, that shit is wild, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Like, and then the law make it to where I gotta go through a whole bunch of.
So I don't know if y'all caught that, but it was a man trying to gain entry into a home. They changed the locks and he had to gain entry. They sold the home and a squatter was in there and they had to get him out. So something similar, not to the same degree, but something similar happened to me this week. I was contacted by an estate attorney to help me do a clean out of an estate property that was going to be sold. Actually, it's going to be sold today. So I was going to go there Wednesday to scope it out. Thursday, I was going to do it. They changed the locks. And prior to that, the realtor had been ran through the ringer and it was sold. But so much so, the family wound up moving back in, threw a whole bunch of stuff out. And so basically they said nobody can come in and we're going to change the locks. And this is why wills and estate planning is so important. But Courtney, I started to call you about this because I knew you'd be like, what in the world is going on out here?
That's bad business. I got a story too. I had a situation where a property I own, I went to go look at it and it had squatters in there. And so I called the cops because I actually called the cops to protect them from me because I got pissed and I was going in either way. But here's the crazy part about that story. When I got into the property, they were cool. They were talking to me because they said that they leased the property. And I'm like,
Wait, what? They
They
what?
said that they leased the property from the owner. I'm like, no, you didn't, because I'm the owner. They had an actual lease.
Oh,
So
so it's one of them fraud joints.
someone saw, because I was in the process of getting ready to rehab the property. So first of all, I was like, how are you living here? There's not running water. There's no bathroom. I'm getting ready to rehab this whole house. What do you mean you're living here? And who gave you a lease for a property without a bathroom?
Mhm.
Make a long story short, the cops got out there, whatever. We start talking, said they showed their lease. Come to find out, make a long story short again, there was a gentleman who was going around. He was finding vacant homes and drawing up leases for. I'm like, first of all, you got a lease for like $350 in Philadelphia. You can't pay $350 for rent. No, like, what are you doing? But this dude had over 70 properties that he had fake leases for across the city. So they ended up catching him. They locked him up. They actually tried to get me to come to court and testify. I didn't do it, but he
Oh,
copped
you
a
didn't
plea.
want to snitch on him? You don't want to snitch on him?
Listen, I just wanted my property back. Whatever this dude got going on, but it doesn't make a difference. He took a deal anyway. But they said that he had over 70 properties like this, where he had these fake leases, and he was collecting rent on 70 vacant homes in the city of Philadelphia, all small amounts, but that adds up. He was getting a couple dollars. Yeah. So that happened to me too with a squatter, but they didn't even realize they were a squatter.
So wait a minute. He gave him the lease. They gave him $350. Was he collecting monthly rent too?
Yeah, not from mine, because I caught it before they were able to make their first payment. But according to what they said, when he got caught, when they finally caught up to him, he has been doing this for a while, to the point where he had built up a full portfolio of property. He had over 70 rentals across the city. He had them in South Philly, North Philly, West Philly. He was,
Damn, I wonder if I could do that to pay off my student loans.
oh God,
Listen, I'm trying to be creative, man.
that's a different level of creativity. You trying to end up,
It's called fraud. It's called fraud.
Yeah, that's another word
Damn
for
it,
it. That's
I
another
can't
word for
talk
it.
around a lawyer. I'm sorry. I
Yeah,
forgot.
that's a thin line
He's
between.
an officer of the court.
He
Can't-
said, "Be creative." No, it's called fraud, beloved.
Called fraud.
Damn.
But I think you make a valid point. There's a couple things. I think one of the big things is, I tell people this all the time: do not leave a vacant property in Philadelphia. Do not. And I've told people, and I've had conversations about people, I want to have a family home and people can come whenever they want. It is a vacant property. It is fodder for nonsense.
I thought about that. I didn't do it though, for that exact reason you were talking about.
And I think people think about and again, I think the way law school does us is that they get us to the parade of horribles all the time. And so we always just immediately think like, well, this could go wrong and that could go wrong. And it makes us crazy. I'm gonna be very clear. But it does help us with these types of situations for us to say like, yeah, no. So interesting enough. So a couple years ago when I was with my grandmother, we had a neighbor across the street. I'm not going to say her name, for it doesn't really matter, because there's a family name, and if you know them, you probably will know the story. So one day the property was vacant. The mother passed away, and I believe the father. I'm sorry, the grandmother passed away. The father, I believe, conveyed the property to the granddaughter, but the granddaughter lived out of state, maybe about 2 to 100 miles away, and the property was vacant. And again, like the property taxes were up to date, everything was fine, but the property was still vacant. I think she had, a type of job that required her to be, far away. So one day I come home and I look over and there's like toys in the front yard. And I'm like, that's odd. Um, I guess, and then I started to say, and I was like, well, I guess they decided to rent out the property. Because I mean, that makes sense. Hey, I live far away. I don't live here. It's not my primary residence. I can come back and forth here, whatever. So I was like, oh, I guess they decided to rent the property. My grandma was like, I guess so. Mind our business. So we have a block captain. The block captain apparently, let me back up. So so she goes, what happens is that she has the lawn cut like every 2 weeks or whatever. So this is like during the summer. And so the people come to the property and they're like, the lawn's already cut. And she's like, how? You guys weren't there. And they said, hey, like, I hear you, but not only is there, the grass cut, but there's people living here. And she was like, what do you mean people living there? And he was like, they were like, yeah, somebody living there. And so, of course, so she comes up from where she was living. She gets the police, and the police, I don't know how they were able to get them out they hadn't been there long, to Jimmy's point, they had not been there long enough, thankfully. But again, when you don't know what's going on in your properties, these people could be there for months and you wouldn't know. And at that point, you end up having to do what's called an action and ejectment, which is what happened to this gentleman here. He's like, listen, I'm trying to get this person out my property and I got to go to court to get this person out of this property. And they've messed up my property. They've done all these other things and I messed up in the game. So those are the types of things that can happen. So again, making sure that you have your properties, either occupied or secured or something. But even still, you have people that are unscrupulous that see, like, they watch the properties and they're like, oh, nobody's in there. Let me run up in there. That's cool.
It's the reason why. It's the reason why, even as like an agent on the agent side of things, I stopped putting signs up at rental property. When I had properties for rent, I stopped putting signs up because what I found is when I put a sign up like, "Hey, for rent," people would then try to break into them and squat nose. They'd be like, "Oh, so no one's living there and it's for rent? That means it's empty. Let me go in here." So I stopped putting signs up.
Oh wow, that's wild.
No, in fact, it's true story. True
No,
story.
I mean I got it. I mean, but that's still wild. It's like we can't even live and work and engage in commerce because there's always somebody out there.
I got a question for Courtney. Right? So I was at one of these real estate investor events, and this guy told me, and again, I don't know how true it is. He told me this. He was like, "Listen, if you're in the process of doing a turnover or your property's vacant," he was like, "especially if you have it in an LLC." I was like, "So what are you talking about?" He said, "When this property's in an LLC, he writes a lease from the LLC to himself." He was like, he said, and the reason he does it is because he had a situation where someone tried to break in and squat, and he told them that he's the tenant. And and so it's not the same situation as it is with an owner. Like it's the tenant and someone has broken into his property. Like it's a break-in now. It's not necessarily someone squatting. It's like, yo, I leased this property from the owner. And I was like, oh, that sounds good in theory, but I don't know.
So I'm not mad at it in theory if that's the sole purpose of why they're doing it. However, a lot of people will try to do that to get benefits tax-wise, and there's actual tax law where you cannot do that for tax purposes. Now, if you're just doing
transactions.
Yep. So so you can't do that. But
Well, I want to talk about not to claim it tax wise. He's talking about just to avoid squatters, right? That part.
No. That's, like I said, in theory, I don't have a problem with that. But again, what will happen is a lot of people sell that as a way to kind of, get better tax benefits and things like that. I mean, it sounds like it's a very narrow scope, which I think is fine. But on the other side of it,
but what that made me think about is what kind of rights do tenants have that an owner doesn't when it comes to someone breaking in their property? Like, do tenants have a different level of rights? Because that's what I was thinking about. I'm like, so I was trying to make sense of it. I'm like, well, he's saying that this works because now he's the tenant. He's coming in as the tenant when he's talking to the authorities. Like, hey, someone has broken into my property. I rent this property.
Well, yeah, because here's the thing. You have a couple of and not necessarily tenants having more rights, but again, it starts to get into an ejectment issue. So if they've been there for a certain period of time, now I have an ejectment issue where if I'm a tenant, I'm saying that I live there, then it's a straight break-in, and it's not so fuzzy on the legal grounds.
Gotcha.
So I wouldn't say necessarily that tenants have more rights than owners, but if I'm not living there and it's not my primary property, then I have a bigger case for an action and ejectment, and I'm not able to get that person out tomorrow, like today.
Okay.
But
if I say I live there and they broke in, that's a whole different thing. Okay,
correct.
Got you. All right.
So that's the thing, and that's how they were able to deal with the property across the street, that it was considered a break-in and not a squatter.
Okay.
Because once you're determined to be a squatter,
I'm about to draw me a couple. How you live over here, here, and here? Like, look, don't worry about that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I'm about to draw me some leases up.
Oh my goodness! Now I would be careful there, but I mean, generally, but
allegedly. I'm joking, by the way.
Allegedly, no, I know, but some people pick up like, I can do that. I'm like, oh Lord, but I think, but one of the things I do think is important is that making sure, because what happens is there was a guy, and I think we talked about this years ago. There was a guy going around teaching people how to squat.
Oh boy.
I mean, you still got people doing that. Yeah.
Hey yo, Ant, you out of control in the comments too, Ant. I just want you to know that.
We about to get to him. We about to get to him.
Going on.
Go ahead, Courtney.
Yeah, no, it was a guy just going around teaching people how to squat. So, changing your driver's license, getting mail to the property, like really doing some stuff that makes it very sticky. So again, so now you're not looking like a break-in, you're looking like a person who lives there. And
Was
now
he in Philly?
yeah.
He need to be careful because you do that in Philly, boy, you may end up,
I ain't mad at them if they do. I ain't mad at them.
Whoa.
Because
Allegedly.
listen, squatters' rights time. Well, I have Second Amendment rights. I'm not. I can't condone that. There's a whole lot of that, but I feel you. But
That
real
ain't-
quick,
yeah.
Nicole says both of my grandkids are receiving SSD for autism, so that is good to know. Yes, that's why we are here. We want to give everybody good information, not this bullshit to be flying around. But don't say oh, Jimmy. You know, be a lot of caca flying around.
Yes. Yo,
So,
I want to show this one comment. Oh, great. You can make it way. You can make your way through it. I was about to show this one comment. Anthony is out of control right now, man.
yeah, I saw that. I was wondering. Yeah. Go read it. Go read it.
And it says, "Hey Jimmy, the old boy who had a lease also run the Tulsa real estate fund." No, he did not. No, he did not. And you out of control, though, beloved.
We don't know what happened actually though. So
And is out of control.
All right.
Hey,
So
listen.
Boom App says, "I'm doing good. Been grinding. Good to you, sir. Welcome. We got that one. That's been going on in Charlotte. Okay.
She's talking about people just like taking vacants and like releasing them out. That was she said it was going on in Charlotte about 20 years ago, real bad.
Okay.
That's
That makes
crazy.
sense.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They do this everywhere, Steve. But yeah, in Philly, I've run into a couple of issues. I mean, listen, I got a tenant right now that ain't paid. Matter of fact, I got 2 tenants right now who ain't paid rent since 2024. So yeah, it's not fun. It's not.
Listen,
fun.
Philadelphia is one of the top 5 scamming cities in the country.
Without Bad Bunny, I need
We
to
might
check the name
if
back
it
so I can remember it.
if Atlanta didn't exist, we might be number 1. But Atlanta exists. Atlanta exists, so we can't be number 1.
The Atlanta slander is here.
Not really. I'm just speaking fact. Do you disagree with that?
Look,
Every time I look up, it's a different scam going on down there. That's the only reason I say that. But if not for that, we'd probably be number 1.
what they say, all the scams are happening in Atlanta because everybody from New York and Philadelphia is moving there.
That might be true. That part might be true.
I think that's legit.
All right, so Anthony says the real estate portfolio of fraud is crazy.
Listen, he ain't the only one. I remember, listen, there was an investigation by the newspaper back in the day when we still had real journalism about just how many properties were stolen from deed fraud in our city.
That just happened recently, right? Not that long ago.
But I remember a couple years ago, they put cats' names and everything out there, and cats have full portfolios of fraud where they were like just taking deeds and doing bad deeds and all kinds of stuff. And
But wait a minute, isn't the guy the Jewish? Shout out to our sister Erica, the Jewish folks who ran the scheme here in Philadelphia and in Baltimore. Didn't they get a bunch of stuff from fraud too, or some kind of loan stuff? I know you saw that.
I ain't making no comments. I don't want no problems right now, man. I'm joking. So yes. But you, the gentleman who had the fraud in Baltimore allegedly had some stuff in Philadelphia too. But those were kind of deed scams as well.
So yeah, we with the sheriff's sale, we had a lot of that. I actually we uncovered. I want to say it was 17. We uncovered a lot of it.
That's just really sad, man.
So people really out here building portfolios to your comment, and people building portfolios on fraud every day, man. Happens every day, B.
Every day, B. Every day.
Yeah.
So Anthony, I want to know, did you get your dividend check yet?
Y'all gotta chill, yo. Y'all gotta chill.
I thought he was referencing, I mean.
We in here.
What
What's up, Still Rocks? What's good?
How are you? Happy Friday to you.
Yo, boom back. It's funny you say that, right? Grand Theft Auto. I definitely used to play Grand Theft Auto and never did the full missions, only did the side missions because I was able to buy real estate and have stash houses. I own so much property in Grand Theft Auto. I was like, yo,
I used to play, but clearly I stopped playing before you could do that.
Yo, I'm like, this is a real estate game to me. This ain't got nothing to do with all the nonsense you're supposed to do in the missions. I'm just out here trying to get as much property all across the board as I can. So in GTA 6 still ain't hit the streets yet, but go ahead though, come on.
By the way, we Still Rocks is throwing in his hashtag early, so he got ejectment. All right, so y'all start thinking about your hashtags for our giveaway.
Yeah, so we're going to do a giveaway soon. Come up with some hashtags that we could use for the giveaway. You will be behind Houston. Okay, so he's saying Houston is number 2 with scams.
Mm.
Now, there's also something
He said
about
they number
Houston.
2. Who's number 1? Who you got number 1? Number 1, man.
Number 1 by far. Everybody gotta have to say number 1. Now,
No,
allegedly,
people say Miami.
Houston is also filled with people from Philadelphia, New York now.
And from Atlanta, by the way.
Memphis
Well,
right now is having a crazy quitclaim deed scandal. I hate quitclaim
I
deeds.
hate them.
I do
Oh
too.
my gosh.
Why do you hate them?
Well, they're the bottom of the. So, okay, couple things. So, when you're conveying a property, you can convey it in fee, which is kind of like I'm just conveying you the property, or you can convey it with a warranty. You have a general warranty, a special warranty, and then you have this garbage ass warranty, which is not a warranty, which is a quick claim. So, general warranty said, listen, I'm warranting the property's title. There's no problems in this property's title forever. And then the special warranty is like, listen, I don't know what happened before me. That's on you. But special warranty is limited to the time that I had it. There's no problems with the title during the time I had it. And then the quick claim deed is like, if I got it, if I have any interest in the property, you got it. If I don't have no interest in the property, then you don't got it. I don't know. Too bad, so sad. You'll figure it out. There you go. So that is the quick claim deed. A lot of people use it for whatever reason, is that they think that the quick claim deed is a good deed, but it's a deed that I use in the title world to fix a problem in a title. That's kind of how I fix problems. But it can also, on the other side, create problems because people are using it for the wrong purpose. But
I
I
have
don't
never,
know. Go ahead.
I have never in my life got a quick claim deed that it didn't end up with some sort of title issue. Anytime somebody offers me a quick claim deed, I'm like, nope, because I already know you scamming, right? It's like a red flag because what do you mean you give me a quick claim deed? So that's why I hate them, because a lot of times in the investment space, in wholesale space, when people will say, no, I just give you a quick claim and you got it. Like, what do you mean you just give me a quick claim? To me, that's a red flag. So
And it should be like, why, like at the very minimum, just give me a fee simple deed and let's move on. So, or, so which is no warranty. It's like, but so if you're giving, like, it's a while behind deed. And I think I have a YouTube video about it too. And I'm like, yo, but again, like I'm a title attorney. Like I was a title attorney. That's how I started off as, in law. So those are things that are really, that always would catch my eye. Like, yo, what are we doing here? Why are we doing it this way?
I'm not familiar with what's going on in Memphis. I guess I got to look it up though. If you can, let me know what's happening in Memphis, that there's a quick claim deed scandal going down in Memphis. So by the way, as Simon says, somebody else says Houston is number 2. Must be a lot of fur going on in Houston, because in AJ, look, Ant also says that ATL is number 1. Everybody agrees that. So everybody saying Houston is number 2, can we all agree that ATL is number 1? Now the debate between Philadelphia and Houston, that's a whole different story.
Well, can we talk about how, like, I think I don't know if there's a nexus here, but it seems like there is one, is that Houston just beat out Philadelphia for the poorest big city in the nation. So I just think just beat out Philadelphia. And it's really just, I think Houston's percentage is a little bit higher, like just by a hair. But I think Houston's population is bigger than ours, so it's just a really interesting situation. But they literally just beat us out.
I know, I saw that, because the people in Philadelphia was ready to party, like, hey, we're not the poorest big city. I'm like, we're still number 2 and it's still close. Like, what are you partying about?
This close.
There's a lot of work to do. Like, what are you talking about? But so Kamari, somebody else is saying Houston is number 2, so in the chat they telling us Houston. But so
listen,
we
I
are quick.
got the Houston yet. I heard Houston is great, but so no shade.
Shout out to Houston, man. Listen though, everybody in the chat, do me a favor and put in the hashtag. What should be today's hashtag for our giveaway? And by the way, for those of you guys that are in Philadelphia, next Saturday, no, it's Friday. I'm sorry, actually a week from today. So we won't be here live on Friday evening next week, because we'll be doing something live in the flesh. Come on, you think we could bring our cameras and stream our live session on Friday? I'm asking, maybe not. I don't know what the technology is like.
I mean, I got the cameras. I don't know if we have Ethernet cables. I will ask. I will see.
If we can, we will go live on next Friday and stream on all the different platforms. But if not, for those in Philly, pull up on us. 1501 North Broad, Sacred Land. We are going to be doing a live conversation. Courtney's going to be with us too. we're gonna be talking about real estate wealth. Well, actually, Kamari, I did get a dividend check through my business from the TRF, $11.23 after almost 3 years, and I actually got the check because I invested through a business. Question, Ant. Never mind. I'll ask you offline. I'm about to say how much did you invest, but I digress, man. But yeah, so there's that. All right, what else we got here?
Mhm.
I'm
So I
sorry.
actually looked up the quit claim deed issue, and it looks like the same thing that was going on in Philly. Honestly, it's
Mm-hmm.
like the same scam. Is that people would create forged deeds, put them on a quit claim, and basically sell the property through a quit claim deed.
Wow.
So it's the same stuff that would go on in Philly.
So Ant says this. He's talking about moving to Houston. His first 6 months in moving there, he went through 4 debit cards because he kept getting skimmed, and people had access to his checking account. But he always caught it before it got wicked.
That's actually a problem here in Philly too, though.
I was just
Problem everywhere.
so I was just talking about that with my 20-year-old. I was like, hey, that place known to have skimmers. Don't use that when you get gas. So
Yeah, that's crazy. I actually saw one time. I was in 7-Eleven on City Line Avenue. So right up City Line Avenue in St. Joe's. I was getting ready and I looked at the joint. I'm like, hold up. And I showed the boy. He acted like he didn't know what it was. So maybe he didn't. But I was like, yo, I'm tapped to pay anyway. So I'm tapped to pay boy. So
I mean, all gas tanks don't have tap to pay. I try to go to those only though.
What hood gas stations you be going to, bro?
I be everywhere, man. It's like
I'm just saying, like, what gas station you going to don't have tap to pay in 2026? I don't know where you be at, man.
The one at my mechanics doesn't have tap to pay.
Yeah.
Your mechanic has a gas station?
Yes, they do. Yes.
Yeah, your mechanic is also probably the one trying to set up a trust. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm on my business. I'm on my business, man. I'm on my business, man. I don't know where you be at, man.
All right. I learned this lesson. He said, I learned my lesson. I'm cash all day, baby. All right.
Or tap on my phone. There you go. Tap to pay. It's a good thing about tap to pay. Yo, so we got one hashtag so far. Give us some more hashtags, y'all. Like Ant, both ants. Give us some hashtags, man. We need some ideas. For the folks here, give us some hashtags so we can do our giveaway, man. And Jamil, if you hear Jamil, what is the $25 of Bitcoin? How many sats is that currently? Here we go. Look, Jamil is on it, man. Shout out to Jamil, man. Detroit's in the building.
What is Bitcoin currently?
Let me see. I've been caring about price, but since you asked, he just told me it's $25.
Jamil usually always tells us.
Yeah, it's over 90 grand. Yo, Jamil, I was just talking about Detroit the other day. I was at an event. I was at an NOI event, believe it or not. And I was talking to somebody about like Detroit, how the origins go back to Detroit, and they were like, in their head, they just thought Chicago. I'm like, no, it's not Chicago, it's Detroit.
Yeah. They didn't do the knowledge.
Come on, you know the brother I want to see speak, because you said you know him. What's his name?
I don't know him. I know of him. Well, I met him because he used to run NAACP. As well as NOI here in Philly.
Yeah, he did run the NAACP. What's his name?
Rodney Muhammad.
Yeah, shout out to Rodney Muhammad. I want to see Rodney Muhammad speak this past Sunday.
Whoa, Anthony, what's up with that? I ain't got no sketchy side, man.
I mean, you did say a couple. You said a couple crazy things this past episode.
I'm just trying to survive in this wilderness of America. That's all.
You said a couple wild things, man. You did.
You have.
You did. Yeah. You see, so my neck of the woods.
Yeah. I only tap to pay on the half. Okay. I ain't mad at you.
That'll pull with the credit card slide. You gotta be careful in 2026, man. You definitely gotta be careful. He said squat. Hashtag squat.
Hashtag squat. All right, BTC $90,548.97.
There you go. All right, so yeah, so for those that win tonight, whatever, we're gonna find a hashtag, and if you win, here's how you win. When you win, you go to the village. You have to be in the village. In order to be in the village, you have to go to blackwealthrebels.com. I know a lot of you guys are already in the village. And if you win, you have to go to your Cash App, hit Bitcoin, right? And when you hit Bitcoin, hit receive. When you hit receive, it'll give you a QR code. Tap the QR code, get your Lightning address, and send it to me in the village, and I will give you your money this evening. Anthony says, yep, I had to register my parents' property with the county that emails me every time someone tried to claim the property. I got an alert from them 5 times in 3 years.
So Philly has that ability too.
I was about to
To
ask
put
this.
it.
That.
Yeah,
Okay.
Philly has a deed alert also that you can do.
How do
Does
I
it
do
get
that?
does it email you? Because I get deed alerts in the
Mm,
mail. Like I just recently
I don't
did
think
a
it's an email.
I just recently did a subdivision. You know what I mean? And shout out to Ty for helping me with my subdivision. And I got a joint in the mail like, yo, your deed has been changed. I'm like, cool.
All right, I got that. Shout out to Courtney for handling that for me.
Okay, so you should get a deed in the mail soon too.
Well, my
We didn't do a
attorney,
subdivision.
No, but anytime there's a change on his
I
deed though,
didn't.
his name changed, so he should get a
So
notification.
but you would have to register first for you to get
So
that.
so
Oh
so
wait,
I
no, no,
don't.
no. Wait, no,
But my
they
dad,
will send
so
you
my
something.
dad,
They do
my
send
dad
something.
got,
Yep,
yeah,
yep,
but
They
my
will
dad,
send you
they
something
sent something
generally.
to my dad. Yeah.
yep. You will.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
And by
I
the
forgot
way,
about that.
Kamari, your name is on public record fix too. I just want to put that out there since you're giving away.
I
Now,
don't know why you decided to put that on
all
public
right,
record.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, NOI started at 3408 Hastings Street in the Black Bottom section of Detroit, 1930. So he got all the history right there. Yeah. But it's funny though, because a lot of people don't know that though, Jamil, because they, because of its association with Chicago and the headquarters now being in Chicago.
Chicago.
A lot of folks don't know that. Yeah, a lot of folks don't know that. So with that being said though, Kamari, did you start reading the book? We supposed to be reading the Dr. King book?
I did not.
I told you.
I have it. I started reading it before for a Blackwell Project joint. But
me and Courtney do not remember that at all, but okay.
I don't remember that. That's
Yeah,
not
I don't
the
either.
number.
I don't either. But
No,
what I
we
will
read
say
a
is this
lot,
though.
but we didn't read that one.
What I will
Maybe
say
we
is this
talked about
though.
it.
Reading that book now, I have a whole different perspective. That it's just interesting as you get older and get more experience and more wisdom, and you reread something, you're like, oh, okay, so this makes sense in a different way. But shout to Dr. King because he wrote this back in the '60s. Also,
chaotic community, right?
Also interesting enough, as I was reading the book, he actually mentioned the term ADOS, and I was like, "Is that where they got that from?" I don't know if that's where they got that from, but he mentioned it in the book. And by the way, the book I'm talking about is "Where Do We Go From Here," by Dr. Martin Luther King, as they say. There you go, right there. Oh, so you got the book? You got it on Audible already? You just ain't started.
I told you I had it.
But I bet you've been listening to Audible all day, though. You probably listened to some ratchet books, so then you didn't get the Dr. King because you was too busy.
I am well versed. But by the way, the reason why I listen to so many ratchet books for everybody that wants to know is because of Jimmy Williams.
Lies and deception, y'all. Lies and deception.
It started with Ashley and Jaquavis.
Jaquavis is the greatest writer in the world. Guys, put it out there. Jaquavis Coleman is the GOAT. All right, with that being said, though, we got a couple people putting squatting. I guess that's going to be the hashtag because people are already putting it in the chat. So
Squat is it.
Even Malcolm started off at Temple number 1 when he came home from the joint. The fact that it's Temple number 1,
I'm still number 1.
Kamari used to, he operated out of Temple 12, but that's neither here nor there.
I didn't operate out of anything, sir. I did visit and get a lot of lessons out of Temple 12. That is a fact. That's a fact. Message to the back, man. Need to live.
I'm just telling you what Kamari operated. He operated. If y'all don't know about Temple number 12, just Google Temple number 12. That's what Kamari operated out of, man.
Oh, have mercy. I don't know what I'm going to do with you.
But I digress. All right, y'all. So, Courtney, I want to thank you for joining us too, because every time we come on, we bombard Courtney with questions to get our own personal questions answered. So you're always a wealth of knowledge.
No problem. I appreciate whatever I can do to be helpful.
And I can't wait the next Friday. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna do a giveaway live too, y'all. So for those in Philly, make sure you pull up live. We're gonna have some fun. That or hashtag pop the lock.
Yo.
Let's go with squat though, Kamari. It's easy. It's short. It's easy to remember. Plus, you probably already set it up, didn't you?
No, I was looking at the city because you prompted me to do so. So,
and what do you see?
My ADHD.
And what do you see?
What are you asking, Jigga? Is Kamari original? I am neither. Listen, I am neither. I'm not qualified. Wait a minute. Wait. I'm not qualified. I will say this though. I won't say that.
Yeah, leave that alone. Kamari was a student in Black Brothers Inc. That's all.
I read the book about it.
You're in the book.
I'm not in the book.
Jamil, I don't know if you read that book, but Kamari is in the book.
The bank down the street from my office is down there. In that
Look,
book.
Here's the book right here. And Kamari is in this book right here, y'all. So
not in that book. Stop lying, man. You lie so easily.
Kamari. See what chapter you in too, man. Let me look up Ellison here, man. By the way, if y'all have never read this book though, this is a pretty it's a lot of Philadelphia history, but it's a dope book.
What up, Rich? It is. And shout out to Black journalists, particularly Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists.
Yes.
They were key in getting that book made.
I have a question, and this is possibly a messy question.
Uh-oh.
Which one are we shouting out?
Which what?
There is only one. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not do that.
Whoa! I
There's
see what
only
she
one.
did there. That's nasty
There's
work.
only one.
Not the national, the Philadelphia.
Okay.
Not so there's PAB, not NABJ. He said PABJ.
Okay, I'm not even being shady. Like I literally there are two, and I don't know the
There
difference.
is not two. There is only one. The original, the very first
Nerd fight.
But no, it's not. No. So listen, there's a lot of. I've refrained from talking about this publicly, but I'll just say this: Black people be on some bullshit a lot of times, y'all. Especially a lot of the uppity ones, and they be on their bullshit. I was there for the whole thing, and it's terrible. And by the way, since we want to bring that up, National's getting sued too, which is a whole problem. But that's a whole.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
Listen, shout out to Kamari, man. Kamari is a board member. You know what I'm saying? Kamari, you big time, man. You be trying to be low key.
I will call a thing a thing though, right? Right. If I'm wrong, if we're wrong, I will call it. I will say it because you can't grow if you were always living in lies. Shout out to the president now who loves to live in lies and spreads lies very easily, but you never grow from that. You never do better from that. It's always some bullshit. And I know some of y'all might like bull. Fuck bull. That's all I got.
Oh, how we get from here to there? Like where'd that come from? Like
that
my
was just my heart.
flabbers are gassed it.
Yeah, how you get like what part of the game is that?
So Anthony, I actually went to school with her sister. She talks about her all the time. And she's pretty dope. I've never met her though.
Yo. Yeah,
Sorry.
anyway, man. Yeah, you went off one of those.
Sorry. I had
It's
some
okay.
good, I got some good digression.
I wasn't ready.
Digression.
Yeah, me either. I'm like, whoa, how you get to all right.
I was on a tangent. I'm sorry.
It's okay, man. You know, I get it. That's your passion speaking, man.
Yo, I do think like a lot of the ICE shit is like terrible. And I don't feel like enough of us are up in arms about it.
Well, I think a lot of people are up in arms, but I guess the question is, and Assault Malik asked this, even if you are up in arms, like, what are you looking for people to do?
Vote.
So
but give us an opportunity to vote. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no election tomorrow.
So I think that Corey made a comment about that the other day, and I really think it was, and this is not to disempower, disenfranchise the vote, but our quickest election, our soonest election is the primaries in May. And then our next election are the generals in November. Yep. Those people that are elected in the general in November are not going to take office until January of the following of 2027. And so the answer of what do I do when my house is on fire on January 9th is to vote in May and November with a hope that people get it together when they come on day one in January, or basically a year from now, is insufficient. And again, this is not me, devaluing the vote at all. It's a both and. It's not an either or. It's a both and. But to the bigger question, what is the both? What is the other side of what do we do? And I don't really have an answer. Like
that's exactly what I'm asking.
I do. So I stopped because I think I just stopped out of courtesy, right? So vote, put your money up, speak out, research. Like a lot of people don't know what the hell is going on. They don't understand how systems work, right? All of those things should be done now. Actually should have been done 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. Because
I get you, right?
There are a lot of people who have access to learn about these things, but they choose not to. They choose ignorance. And I don't understand that.
So here's the crazy part, right? So I have friends who are like activists, right? And they'll send me a message like, you didn't speak out on this. I'm like, well, honestly, I'm not educated in it. I make it my business to only speak on things that I actually know about, right? So people act off emotion, and we all have emotions, but some things I'm just not completely educated about to speak on. I don't want to speak from a place of ignorance. I think too many of us do actually. I think we need to make it a habit of not speaking on things that we're not well versed on, because I be seeing some nonsense out here.
I mean, I hope you're not taking my comment and saying everybody should speak out on everything. That's
No, no,
not.
no, no, no. I'm just making that point as well, right? Because one of the things is to speak out. I'm like, okay, but I got to know what's going on to speak out. Like,
Well, that thing has been televised, and it's clear that that lady was murdered, right? So I'm not talking about, because again, Jimmy, I agree with you. You get people on here, accountants, everybody wants to play an accountant or an attorney who has not studied anything or going to law school or taken an accounting course, but everybody's got a cheat code for taxes. Give it about 2 months, y'all. You're seeing all over the place, right? And so that's one thing, but people have ulterior motives. A lot of times people are just trying to sell stuff. And so, you got to keep that in perspective. But no, I don't think everybody should speak on everything.
I'm looking at this crazy video. Lorraine just sent me this crazy video. Like, people getting set up via DoorDash now. You can't even order DoorDash no more.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing.
So here's as an attorney, like, first of all, I'm petrified. Like, I am literally petrified. All of the things that we have held to be tenets of the United States, and I say tenets, tenets of the United States, and basic freedoms are being eroded. But this is not surprising. We have been eroding basic freedoms for a while.
Yep.
Like, remember, so I want to be clear, we just got Miranda rights in, like, what, 1974.
And
So
tell
police
people what Miranda rights are, Courtney.
so Miranda rights is you have a right to remain silent. It gives you all the rights that you have if you're arrested. You have a right to remain silent. You have a right to an attorney, and anything that you can and will anything that you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So I think that's the gist of it. I don't think I've missed anything. I'm not a criminal attorney, don't quote me, but that's generally the gist. But I say that to say is that you just got those warnings under the Warren Court in, like, 1974 or something like that. So I say that these things, some
Kamari
of the
was already
things,
alive then.
wow, wow, that
What year was it? What year was it?
I'm just looking. I'm looking it up. Like, I think it's 74 though. I do think it's 66. I'm sorry. So it's the 1966 Miranda versus Arizona. So I was a couple of years late.
Were you born in Kamari?
Wow.
All right, but listen though, I think that a lot of times that's an excellent point, Courtney, because sometimes people don't realize just how recent things were. When like when did women get the right to have a credit card without having their husband's permission?
In the 70s. In the 70s.
In the 70s.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. And now also you can see in old deeds, it will say a single woman, or it would give some kind of designation about a woman, but never a man. A single man never says that. It always says a single woman. And that's something. And it's so interesting when you see the deeds, because it's like, that's odd. That's an odd thing to happen, because it will usually say, John Smith et Ux, which is Anne wife, which is Latin for Anne, like et uxor, which is wife. So I say that to say, Roe versus Wade is in the 70s, and we kind of can walk through a couple of different
That's crazy.
like, really, landmark decisions that came out of the Warren Court. And I bring that up to say the Roberts Court, the whole point of the Roberts Court was to undo the things that happened under the Warren Court. Brown versus Board of Education, which was 1954. That is definitely 1954. That was under the Warren Court. And so a lot of things that we talk about, even so, education, separate but equal, that was thrown out in 1954. So it was definitely thrown out in some of our parents' lifetimes. So when we look at these things, and then we look at, we had the Voting Rights Act. The Voting Rights Act was gutted in 2013. We also have another series of cases where corporations are basically considered people for the ability to influence elections in terms of contributions of money. So there's just so many different things that, like I said, I'm terrified, but I'm not surprised, because if I can look back, we have Shelby v. Holder, which is a voting rights case. I can look back, and I think it's Citizens United, which is the
fact that Roe v. Wade was in the 70s is like mind-boggling. Like that's not even that long ago. I bet.
The
Hey,
fact that they try to kill that since I think it was 73 is mind-boggling.
yo, are they going to overturn Loving v. Virginia?
So,
I mean, Dr. Umar wants that.
I'm just
all right,
asking. I mean, if we knock, I'm just asking. Loving v. Virginia, they going to touch that or no?
so I you're making a funny.
I'm asking a question. Like Loving
So
v.
I think
Virginia is a landmark case. So
let's talk about what Loving v. Virginia is. Loving v. Virginia allowed, said that who you decide to marry in terms of race is a privacy right, and as a result, you can't discriminate between who people marry. So it was a black woman and a white man.
Mhm.
And that was decided. Hold on, I have to look it up. That was decided in 1967. So again, to Jimmy's point, is that there's a lot of there's kind of like what we call the privacy line of cases. So a lot of the
Mhm.
privacy line of cases, the right of people to be able to have sexual relations with whomever people that they would like. Um, there's a lot of those types, and they're all kind of will be considered the privacy rights, privacy line of cases. But
Mhm.
Loving versus Virginia is part of it. Roe versus Wade is part of it. There's a couple of I'm just trying to figure out who else, where else there's a couple of privacy cases. I can't remember all of them. I'm gonna look them up.
No, but it's crazy times we're living in. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
that's why the reason I was bringing that all up. Rich said Clarence Thomas can't co-sign that.
Hmm.
You know,
Well,
Clarence Thomas is a
they
wild card
have
though.
they have talked. Politicians have talked about that,
Mhm.
challenging that.
And he
Like,
actually
which is
talked
wild.
about it in one of his dissents. And he didn't talk about Loving specifically, but he named the other cases. So like that's on their radar. So here are the cases I was telling you about, the privacy line of cases. So you have Griswold versus Connecticut, which is 1965. That's when the court allowed that basically allowed the use of contraceptives by married couples. So prior to that, there was
Wait,
a
what?
case
What? Wait,
that
what?
married couples were not able to use contraceptives. Like that was a law. So in 1965,
Kamari's face.
I'm just telling you. So it's a right.
Wow.
So like I said, so established the right to privacy in marital relations. So then you have Einstein versus Bird. So it was extended to the contraceptives was extended to unmarried individuals. So which allowed them the right to access and use contraceptives. And then you have Roe versus Wade, which is 73, which is determined that a woman's right to an abortion was protected under the right to privacy. And then you have Planned Parenthood versus Casey. So it reaffirmed, and so this is where we start eroding at the cases or at the holdings. So Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which is actually, I think that's a Pennsylvania case. I'm pretty sure it's a Pennsylvania case. I'm pretty sure it's Planned Parenthood for Southeastern Pennsylvania Planned Parenthood versus Casey, which is, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure that's the full name of the case. Um, and the court, said, hey, yeah, we're still on the same place with Roe, but we're going to provide, Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania versus Casey. So it provided a little bit of, I guess, guardrails on some of these on the idea of Roe. So it says allows for some state restrictions on abortion while maintaining the essential right to an abortion.
Mhm.
So it says, listen, we can kind of determine on when in the pregnancy life cycle you can actually still go through an abortion. And then you have Lawrence versus Texas, which is 2003. So I want to be clear about this, is
Wow.
that they said individuals are allowed to engage in private consensual acts, effectively in violating sodomy laws. So this is 2003.
What?
So, so then we have Dobbs. So
Ho
Dobbs
ho
is
ho
what?
ho ho ho. 2003 just became elite. Never mind.
Yeah.
Nah, just became, all right. Never mind.
So again, so then you have Dobbs, which is the one that overturned Roe versus Wade. So they said abortion is not a fundamental constitutional right. So which because of that, it allows the states to drop down to the states for the states to be able to regulate whichever way they want to. So I think those are the things that's the kind of the privacy line of cases.
Mhm.
There's a couple more of them that I actually didn't talk
So I
about.
have a
Loving versus
question for you.
Virginia.
That's why I like
Mhm,
having I like when we have our attorney friends on with us. Actually,
mhm,
and by attorney friends I mean Courtney. So because my conspiratorial brain, right? Because the way they always
mhm,
pitch these things is, hey, we're not making it illegal. We're just sending it back to the state. So your
mhm,
state can decide how you move. What is the end goal there? Because what I see is states are starting to take sides on all these different issues, and what's
They
the
always
goal with
did.
that?
They always did. And that's the other. Remember, if you go back to the conversations about slavery, they made the conversation about states' rights,
Mm-hmm.
because there were some states that had abolished slavery and some states that didn't. And they said, well, listen, the proponents of it were like, hey, that's not our business. Let's the states decide what they want. They states are deal with light what is it, health and welfare of their citizens. So they're
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, let the states deal with it. But it's kind of like a dog whistle. It really is it's a hearkening back to slavery of saying,
Mm-hmm.
hey, because that it's more you if you have blanket protections is across the nation, but you're going to have some small pockets, especially in the Bible Belt, that are going to be more restrictive, according to like however they feel like their cultural norms are. So you could possibly be bullied, which is going on right now, since you could be bullied by your state, but then go across state lines and have a lot more freedoms. So in terms of your right to an abortion, or what your woman's right to choose, or all those things. But the
Are we
part.
are we headed to a civil war?
Are we headed to a civil war? No.
I'm
Well,
just
let me
asking.
ask you this
Now,
question, Courtney.
I'm just asking because I'm like, you keep bringing things down on the state rights. Like people will start to make decisions in terms of like geography based upon the rights that are allowed in said state.
well, they
You know,
already do. I mean, they already do.
to a
Like
certain
you
extent.
really, as a woman, am I am slightly afraid to fly sometimes, and not like a real like, but it's something that's like a kind of a underlying anxiety,
You
because
don't
if
want to
it's
go to
forced.
Texas.
Hmm.
You don't want to go to Texas.
But not even that, like I don't even have to go to Texas. I could be flying to California. And so I might need to have an emergency procedure done in Texas because I'm having some kind of issue in the air and they have to do an emergency landing in, say, Houston. Then I'm SOL.
More
So
Houston slander.
right. So fair. But I say that to say is that because like this, we are engaged in so much interstate commerce, is that we're not as stationary as we used to be. Like this
Right.
is not 1945 where our best mode of transportation was train that took forever, or car. We have these things called airplanes, and we can be anywhere in the United States more or less in a day. So that being said, is that I could be flying in the airspace of a unfriendly state and find myself messed up in the game, and any woman can. And I really feel like those are the things that people have forgotten about. They're just like, oh, it's not my state. My state's not doing it. But what if you're traveling to visit your sick grandmother and you have a problem? I
It's
mean,
funny, right?
so.
It's funny you say that. I was
Mm,
talking to a
Hold on, Jim. I wanted to ask Courtney a question real quick. So as we talk about this, right?
mhm.
Why should Black folks be concerned about the law as it relates to wealth?
Well, the
that's a
law
deep question.
dictates winners and losers through the law. So again, is that if the law is going to dictate winners and losers, then we need to be paying attention to, what's going to be incentivized and what's decentivized, and build your wealth around that. I mean, we kind of talk about it when we talk about wages. Your wages are going to be taxed higher than your investment income. That's just the way the tax code works. So that being said, is that if I'm a person who's looking to maintain as much of my wealth as possible, then my goal is to build up my investment portfolio more so than it is my wages. Because again, I know that like I'm going to be taxed differently when it comes to my investment portfolio, as long as it's long term. It's a long term hold over 12 months or longer. But again, like if that's the case, so understanding, like I said, I've said it a couple times, knowing the rules of the game and playing it better than anyone else, but we're hustling backwards if we don't actually understand the system that we're working
Mm-hmm.
in. If we don't understand, like for example, they rescheduled, supposedly, I don't know what they're doing, they rescheduled marijuana from a Schedule 1 drug to a Schedule 3 drug. So what does that mean for us? That means that the likelihood of, and that's usually what happened, that's the same thing, and I think we've talked about this with marijuana a lot, is that that's the same thing that happened during the time of prohibition, is that the states were just like, they gave a middle finger to the federal government, like, we're not doing this anymore. First of all, it's costly as heck for us to police this stuff when we used to get
Whoa,
when
what
we
is
used to
that?
get a, it was a little thumbs up. So
I've
I guess
never
it caught my
seen that
thumbs up,
before.
and I don't know if this works too. Oh, there it is.
Oh, is that because it's on your phone?
No, I don't know.
It's
I'm not
StreamYard.
sure. I don't
Mm-mm.
know. I definitely do hearts for my niece, and she definitely gets those. I've never seen a thumbs up before. But anyway, so I see Spark. I get distracted. So what was
I'm
I
sorry.
saying?
I'm sorry.
No. You're talking about the idea of how they treated marijuana, and they did the same thing they did in
Oh,
prohibition.
so prohibition. So yeah, so the states were like, yeah, no, we're not doing this anymore. Like y'all got us messed up. We are spending all this money enforcing this lack of alcohol in our states. But the problem generally is that that was a moneymaker. New York like kind of fell in and out of prohibition a lot during that time because they're like, yo, first of all, these people are wild and they're just being crazy over this bootlegging. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that we were getting tax revenue from that. So now we're not getting tax revenue and we got to deal with all this nonsense. Yeah, like it's not worth it. So as the states kind of start falling away, still kind of states' right issue, as they start falling away from prohibition, the federal government was kind of forced to like, all right, y'all, listen, we're not going to have a prohibition across we're not going to have a prohibition across the United States. We'll just leave it to the states for them to deal with it. So that's why you had like dry states, you had dry counties, and you had all kinds of stuff after prohibition, because it
Hmm.
gave the states the kind of the right to determine and deal with things as they saw fit. um
But you talked
so
about like the idea
Mhm.
of like flying and the dangers. It's funny because that's like a black thing too. I was talking to a 6F colleague of mine, and we were talking about like
Mhm.
these various conferences and everything. And I was like, when they were naming some of the places, I'm like, well, how do they treat black people? And he's like, why do you always ask that? And I'm like, because that's the thing.
Mhm.
Like, when we travel, if we go out of the country or we go somewhere else, we want to know, like, what I mean? That's a thing. And for him, he was confused. I'm like, see, that's you talk about as what they call online cis white male privilege is like,
Cisgender men.
yeah, they don't think about those kind of things at all. And
Well, they're going to start to.
I mean, they may now, but I'm saying in general, like this is a thing
Mhm.
that we grow up with. We grow up with, like, if I'm going to, it doesn't even have to be out of the country. It could be a different city in the United States. And you're like, yo, how they, what's good? You know what I mean? Anyway, with that
I
being
mean,
said, though, that's the thing. So I get it.
but
Anyway,
I
Kamari,
think
how
you hit
many?
it. Go
Go ahead,
ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
We got 9. We got 9.
I know you want to get
Ooh.
at least 10. We got way more folks watching. But somebody leave it on
No,
the screen for a second. This is the hashtag tonight to be entered into our giveaway. For those that are here for the first time, we do a giveaway every Friday. We give away Bitcoin. You have to enter hashtag squat in the comments section. You put it in the comments section that puts you into our giveaway, and you have an opportunity to win. By winning, you go to your Cash App, hit Bitcoin, hit receive, and there we go. We got 10. But go
Ooh.
ahead though.
but
Would you
for the
guys would you
for the
would
record, ever since Cookie screamed on me, I don't wait. So we can just go.
yeah, Cookie definitely did
She
scream on
screamed
you.
on me.
But
She
what would you get
ran
ready to say,
down on
Court?
me.
What would you get ready to say, Court though? You said the point that you said you brought up a point about something, or maybe it was about like traveling while black.
So yeah, I think oh shoot. So we've always had conversations about like kind of traveling while black. That's why we had the green book and we had all those other things.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one of the things is that we've gotten too comfortable. As a people, we've gotten too comfortable. I think we have kind of fallen in love with the idea of a post-racial society, and we are not post-racial. But I also think it's very interesting is that people are starting to feel what we have felt for years in terms of I don't feel comfortable in my own home, or I don't feel comfortable going out in the street. I can get picked up by the police. I can get shot by the police. And not saying that justifying any of those things. I want to be very clear about that. But
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that that is part of a reality that people have not experienced before. I wonder what that looks like on the other side, is that when that reality sets in.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that people are like, yo, like this is what and I think it's interesting that this is all happening in the 250th anniversary of the United States, is that we are celebrating this 250 year of independence, but we are kind of going back to some of the tyrannical ways that kind of brought the United States to come into existence. Now, granted, now there's some other parts of the United States that we kind of like tyrannical ways, like against the King of England, but yet and still we have enslaved people. So there's that. It's like okay, y'all. Like here, pot meat kettle. But I think all those things are really important to talk about in context. But I also want us to have other conversations about history because, again, as we are looking at the 250th anniversary, I think there are some parallels that are concerning. But I also think these are things that need to be talked about a little bit more broadly than they currently are.
These are
Okay.
facts. These are
Okay.
facts.
Let's get ready to spin the wheel, y'all.
What we
Hopefully,
got? How many? What we got, Kamar? How many we
we
got?
got 12. We got 12.
All right, there we go. There you go.
We bust through 10. Now we have 12.
Listen, that's what Jesus needed.
That's all he needed. He did need a whole lot more than that.
Good
All right, y'all. So let's spin. Good luck. God bless.
luck to everybody. Remember, if you win, let me know in the village. Go ahead, Kamar. Let's get it. Who is our winner? And the winner is
Did I see Jarrell? Jarrell's here?
Jarrell's in the building. Yes, he is here.
What up, Jarrell?
Joyful,
Joyful.
joyful, Lord, we adore thee. All right, Joyful, gotta go to the village. You gotta send me a message. Go to your Cash App, go to your Bitcoin, hit receive. You know what I'm saying? You'll get the QR code, tap the QR code, get your Lightning address, send me your Lightning address, and I will get you those sats immediately. Yes, you did win. She said, "Oh crap." Yes, you did win. You are the winner.
All the winner. Winner chicken dinner.
Yeah, man. Yo, shout out to Cash App too, man. Because I had a cousin, right? I didn't know. So Cash App, the reason I was shouting out Cash App though is because I was in there today. I was telling Kamari, I was like, I have a brokerage account over there that I don't really use. I said, but I'm gonna start building it up. But I had a cousin that asked me for a couple dollars. Borrow a couple dollars. Look, you don't gotta borrow it. I'm gonna give it to you because you can't pay me back anyway because you broke. But that's another thing.
Hold on. I need a couple dollars, Jim. Can I hold something?
Well, whatever you need, bro. Let me know what you need. But listen, so I sent her a Cash App, and then she hit me back like, "Damn it!" I was like, "What's that?" She was like, "I owe them money because I already got a loan out. So they take the money when you get money, and they automatically apply it to the loan. If you so shout out to Cash App.
So did you send her more?
Listen, not yet, because I told her I said something's wrong with you. But that's another story. Point is, Cash App is out here putting money on the street too. So, y'all gotta be careful, man. One day we're gonna do a show about Afterpay, Klarna, now Cash App loans, because between that
and gambling
and online gambling, we are headed to a real bad place. Those things, those Afterpay, Klarna, and online gambling.
I think debtor's prison is coming back.
Wow, is that your prediction?
That's my prediction.
I don't know. It may be too many 6Fs in prison if that's the case.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like,
they got all the debt.
I think it's coming back.
They run off on the plug.
How much gambling debt is about to be run up? I mean, so right now we are, and it's funny the timing of this, right? The greatest transfer of wealth is about to happen right now. And where do we think a lot of that wealth is going to end up?
Hold on, what's the greatest? You know what? Because every year somebody tells me it's the greatest transfer of wealth. What is it this time?
This generation.
Oh, you're talking about generation. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
But I'm not. I think here's the thing. I want to talk about that because I think we say that a lot, and I do think there are some opportunities where there is some transfer of wealth. But I also feel like our boomers are living a lot longer, and they're starting to drain down their funds. So I'm just wondering, generally, the longer that you live, the less likely you are to die with assets. Now, that's just general for the average
No, I
person.
mean,
That's not
because
just everybody.
healthcare cost is a thing. So I feel you on that.
So I think and I was actually talking about this with a friend of mine. There were two things that I was like, I really need to get this done soon. Is that short-term disability, short-term, long-term disability, and then also long-term care insurance. Like getting long-term care insurance at 60 ain't gonna do it. Like you need to get it when you're younger. And I mean, I'm in my mind, I'm like, I'm in my 40s. I'm like, I probably should have gotten this in my 30s, both. So I just always think about those types of things in terms of, because we talk about a lot about when we talk about insurance and we talk about protection, we talk about life insurance, we talk about property insurance, we talk about like property, like real property, or we talk about car insurance, but we really don't talk about these other things that are more likely to happen as we age, which is more likely to become disabled at some point or taking care of a disabled parent, because you can use there are policies that allow you to pull for that. But then also, because we're living longer, the likelihood of you having to go into some type of skilled living facility is higher too. So again,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to basically run through your wealth that you amass because you have all these major medical bills, and good facilities at this point probably are running you about $9,000-$10,000 a month?
All right, so
Crazy.
Steve says gambling is the second fastest sector growing in the economy from 2019 to 2025 in terms of GDP.
Only behind prostitution. I'm joking. I don't know what number one is. I would.
So I wouldn't be surprised it is, but sins are always going to do well. Sins are, it doesn't matter what the economy is doing. Sins are going to do well, fine. They're going to gambling, other things, but anything that we call sin, we have sin taxes,
Mm-hmm.
cigarettes, anything that's a sin. I mean, they're going to do well, or sin.
Listen,
A
I
sin.
just
Well,
shot
40 you
shot
want, that's all they really want. That's all.
shout to Lorraine. Lorraine just sent me a text. She said, "Ask Courtney about the law that will allow the government to collect from your estate upon your death."
For
Are you
Medicare.
are you talking about for health? Or are you talking about someone dying intestate? So Lorraine, clarify that for me real fast. Though, are you talking about like in terms of like health,
Like
'Cause
Medicare.
Medicare?
Debate y'all keep.
Hmm?
Gossip does well. Yeah, that's true, Rick. This is true. This is true. Yeah. So Lorraine, clarify that for me real fast. But Steve said he despises gambling. It's a simple wealth extraction tool.
I agree with him 1000%.
Yeah, it's crazy what's going on out here, man. It's definitely crazy. She said yes, Medicare or any other government benefit.
So it's the estate. So you're talking about the estate recovery program, which is somebody allows medical assistance, that allows the state or the Commonwealth to recover medical assistance payments made on behalf of individual who receive long-term care, medical assistance, including nursing facilities, whatever, from the time they turn 55 until they're passing. And so the
Wow. So
answer,
they can go after your estate for that?
yes. So, but I believe it is limited. So we have Medicare, which is for old people, and Medicaid, which is for those who are indigent or are in poverty. So basically, they're saying you're receiving benefits for those who are poor. So any assets you may have as a result, that they should come back to the Commonwealth because we were paying for them in the with the understanding that you were poor.
So crazy part is having that understanding. Now you can plan, kind of around that. It's like what you say about like the tax code being the cheat code, right?
Mhm.
It's like I guess there's when you look at the law as well. If you know how to play the game, you know how to play the game. Because that to me, when you read that, that's going to affect more working class poor folks than it is going to affect people that have people to put things in place for them.
So true. So I think, but it's also about that planning on the front time, like on the
Mm-hmm.
front page. Like
Yeah.
again, you have a couple of different ways to deal with it. Like, you have the look back period to deal with, if you're starting to transfer things out. So you have that. And I think understanding all of those things in context, because it really hits to push back a little bit, it really hits like moderate income people.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you poor, you poor. But it's those who did have something to, share or pass down, but because they were in a nursing home for 5 years, and I'm telling you, like, hey, these are the numbers that are in nursing homes, like it's going to eat that up very fast.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm of the opinion we only have rich and poor at this point. But I get your point though. Anybody with some assets that they can possibly pass down to the next generation. To fiat is the root of all evil. Listen, it's something to be said about it.
Mhm.
Jarrell says it's so many different versions of insurance. I just got my life insurance joint last year. Now I got to research long-term wrinkly disability joint for my later years. Thanks for putting me on, y'all. Listen, we appreciate you, Jarrell. Salute to you.
Deeper conversation on that in the village because I'm
Yeah.
actually
Steve says we need an
long-term care
economy.
insurance myself.
This comment is interesting to me. Steve said we need an economy built on proof of work. The problem with that is if we had an economy built on proof of work, half of our probably people wouldn't be unemployed because there's so many fluff jobs in the world. There's so much nonsense out here, you know. So Lorraine says with that Medicare situation, right? How does that affect person that has a will and beneficiary? Like will the state supersede them or how's that work?
So So the general answer is that it's subject. It's any property that are part of the deceased estate are subject to the estate recovery. So that would be something asset that would pass in their will,
Mm.
because basically Medicare, this is going to be they're considered a creditor.
Listen, man, we gotta take care of our elders. That's another story, man. But listen, though, we about to get out of here. For those that aren't in the village, go to blackwealthrebels.com. Make sure you join the village. There'll be content there tomorrow. We're putting up content every day. So there'll be content there tomorrow. That's blackwealthrebels.com. Next week, we may or may not be streaming because we have a live event here in Philadelphia. If you're in Philadelphia, make sure to get with us because the event is Friday. What time it start, Kamari?
5:30. 5:30. I'm trying to find the
Friday, 5:30. We're on sacred ground.
5:30, 1501 North Broad Street at the new North Philadelphia Welcome Center.
At the new North Philadelphia Welcome Center, which is in, Sullivan Trust Plaza, also possibly the home of our future headquarters, but I digress. So make sure to come join us if you're in Philadelphia, 1501 North Broad Street. We will try to stream if we can, depends upon what the technology looks like. Other than that, next Thursday, catch me on Zoom with Coach Carter. We're going to do a real estate valuation class. And next Saturday, Kamari and I will be in New Jersey. So for my folks in Jersey, we'll be in Cherry Hill, New Jersey at Maggiano's.
New Jerusalem.
Yes. And on MLK Day, Coffee Creams and Dreams on Fairmount Avenue. It's the black-owned coffee shop. So that's everything that we got going on. With that being said, we love you guys. We appreciate you. BlackWealthRebels.com. If you're not in the village, please join the village. Also, Joyful, send me the information. I want to get you paid right away. Kamari, what are you laughing at?
Because you just said we're out and you're like Joyful.
No, because I want to make sure Joyful sends me the information so I can get her paid right away. All right, we got y'all. Peace.
Until the next time, y'all, let's get free.